Hello everyone, so we are group 7 and this is our dream pitch on KitchenAid. I'm going to go over the order of the presentation. So first we're going to do an introduction and give a brief description and history of KitchenAid. Then we're going to further delve into the creativity and innovation which they exercise today. Next we're going to look at the products and ads, and we're going to use the systematic creativity techniques which we learned in class. And then we're going to conclude by talking about the future of KitchenAid. So let's begin with a brief description. So what is KitchenAid? So KitchenAid is an American brand which specializes in culinary appliances and accessories, specifically designed to enhance and improve the experience in the kitchen. So it was formed in 1919 and has the advantage of longevity. It's also established itself as a revered American brand which provides kitchen products at an affordable cost. So by doing this, it's catered to a niche whose potential was previously underutilized and overlooked. Specifically, I'm talking about women. So during this time was the women's suffrage movement, and there was a saturation in this emerging field in order to empower more women in the kitchen. What makes KitchenAid successful? Its success is rooted in the development of the dishwasher, which was originally invented in 1893, and their invention of the first commercial mixing stand in 1990. Longevity of the brand allows us to see over time the innovation of the new products that they've made over the years. In the adjacent picture, we see the progression of one of their most innovative products, the stand mixer. So there are two different types of mixers in the pictures. The first one was produced in the 1930s and the other one is more modern. In both the previous and the current slides, we see two different types of mixers. As mentioned previously, this one below was produced in the 1930s and the one above is more modern. So there's a few visible differences. For example, the bowl lift design provides stability and support for mixing heavy materials. There's more space to position the mixing bowl. They come with multiple attachment safety features and are more useful and practical because of the streamlined look which it now carries. They also made the mixers rotate and added special mechanisms to account for different recipes and cooking methods. Further, they removed vestigial parts which were no longer useful. So, as we've seen, by making a few changes to the components of the design, they made the product more useful, efficient, and aesthetically pleasing. These images are proof that they systematically and creatively optimize their product over time to better meet the needs of the customer. So, given that they boast the largest product variety in kitchen appliances, accessories, and products, I would say that their customers are pretty satisfied.
Tediously cutting and slicing vegetables while cooking can be a pain. Cutting your fingers is an even bigger one, especially if you're in a rush. Introducing KitchenAid's newest product, the Easy Slice. It cuts down on time, energy, and pain. It combines KitchenAid's pre-existing classic forged kitchen cutlery and polymorph cutting board. This product was designed using task unification. It started out with a chef's knife, and external components were added around it. The external component of a cutting board stuck out to me, and I thought, if you combine a chef's knife and a cutting board, you can have an easy-to-use product. The advertisement for Easy Slice is as follows. A woman looks to be about in her late 20s and is standing in her kitchen looking sadly at her fingers with multiple bandages on it. She stares angrily at her knife and cutting board. Obviously, she doesn't know how to cut vegetables and she's using a horrible knife. And it's hard for her to cut vegetables and it's hard for her to do it because it's so boring. It's around Christmas and her friend comes to her door. The woman hastily opens up the door and sees her friend at the door with a gift for her. And guess what it is? It's an Easy Slice. The woman is ecstatic. The friend shows her how to use the easy slice. She simply grabs a vegetable, puts it under the easy slice, and presses down the handle, and it's as simple as that. The next day, the woman with the bandages is excited to use the easy slice. When she has to cook, she grabs a whole bunch of vegetables, meats, fruits, and she gets a little carried away. She grabs napkins, anything in her sight, cups, paper plates, and even her clothes. Eventually, she ends up with a pile of sliced products, foods, everything in her kitchen. Her friend comes to her door again the next day. The woman opens up the door, still ecstatic from using the easy slice. Her friend looks over to the pile of mess in the woman's kitchen and she's like, "What happened?" The woman looks at her kitchen and realizes what she's done. And she states, "I got carried away." The KitchenAid's chef knife, sharp German stainless steel blade, will make anyone want to just slice and dice anything.
Kitchen pans are one of the most important parts of the kitchen. Without them, it is nearly impossible for us to cook most of the meals that we've come accustomed to. And sometimes they can even be used as a storage unit to put freshly made food inside the fridge. However, although they're great, one of the biggest complaints about them is that they take up too much space in the kitchen. Most of the space is either in the cabinet where they're stored or even in the refrigerator. And it gets even worse when you have multiple pans at the same time, with just too many protruding out at once. However, although this is an ongoing issue, we think we have come up with the perfect solution for it. Our solution to fix this storage issue is called the kettle pan. What makes this pan so special is that it's a pan just like any other pan, except we simply just get rid of the side handle on the pan. And by doing this just increases the space that the users have in their kitchen, as well as it just allows for you to put more pans in and stack more pans on top without it becoming too cluttered or just becoming too much of a mess. And it also helps out while cooking. If someone's cooking a larger meal, sometimes it's harder to balance it with one hand using the side handle. So with this, all we do is just simply move the main function of the side handle onto the top handle on the lid, and that becomes the main point for the transportation of the pan. And I know that it sounds weird to have a pan without the side handle, but our solution to this is just simply having the top lid be the main handle for it. And with this, we would just add a twist off feature, a twist off, twist on feature that would allow the handle to either twist tighter or twist looser if you're trying to remove the lid, and tighter if you're trying to pick it up and move it across either the stove or into the fridge or just move it in general. We created the kettle pan by taking a survey and simply asking people what their biggest issue about their kitchen was. And the biggest issue was just the storage space of the kitchen, as we said before. Most people have many pots and pans and different cooking sheets and all that, so it tends to make it difficult to fit everything into one space. And particularly, people pointed out that their pans, like the side handle, was the main issue for it. So we heard this information and we looked at the results and we tried to decide what's the best way to fix this. So we used a replacement method and decided that just simply removing the side of the handle, but keeping its function of stability and transportation and holding it and just moving that to the top handle, that would be the best way to fix this storage issue. And finally, how would we advertise the kettle pan? We would do this by using the absurd alternative method to show the consequences of a family who still uses the old pans. And the advertisement would simply be just a family living their normal life. They just keep buying more and more pans. And gradually, they just start running out of space in their kitchen because the side handle's taking up too much space in the cabinets. So to fix this, the mom eventually starts moving the pans into other parts of the house. So at first she gets rid of the dog's little area and kicks the dog out. And then after she puts the pans there, she realizes that she still needs more space. So after this, she then kicks the kids out of their room and moves all their stuff out to put more pans inside their room. And then finally, she still realizes that these pans just still take up too much space. So she eventually kicks her husband out of their bedroom and out of the bed and everything, and moves all the pans inside the bed to finally make more space. And the final shot would just be the dad and the kids outside, because now they sleep in the tent, and the mom's sleeping in the bed with the pan.
Have you ever had a problem finding where that disgusting odor of spoiling food is coming from? With the new sparkling KitchenAid refrigerator, you can now track down spoiling food before it turns scary. Our food spoilage alert feature notifies you when food spoils by causing the lights near the spoiling food to turn slightly green. Our refrigerators currently absorb ethylene gas emitted from ripened produce, and now the emitted gas causes the nearby lights to turn green. By utilizing the attribute dependency template, we found that there aren't any refrigerators on the market that have lights that change colors based on ethylene levels. Adding this feature is feasible for production due to the produce preserve already being in place. As the absorbed ethylene gets to a certain level, the nearest light will be signaled to turn slightly green. Another feature in the sparkling 2-door built-in refrigerator is the carbonated water feature. Drinking water is essential for life, and for over a decade, many refrigerators have provided easy access to filtered water and ice. For many people, drinking sparkling water tends to increase hydration and can decrease temptation for sugary carbonated drinks. This feature was created using the task unification template. We assigned an additional task of getting sparkling water to an existing water dispenser. KitchenAid's sparkling refrigerator ad is as follows. It starts with a busy woman, always on the go, and she never has time to clean her fridge. When she finally comes home from a week-long trip, she opens up her packed fridge and can't seem to find where a foul odor is coming from. When she goes to bed, the expired food keeps crying for her to take it out. The lady is scared, so she refuses to eat at home, causing her to quit her healthy eating habits. She feels so unhealthy and suffers from PTSD. Stay healthy and sparkling clean with the new Sparkling KitchenAid.
So KitchenAid is already at an advantage because they've positioned themselves in the market as a major player. So the future looks bright as long as they continue to improve and optimize their products to solve problems in new ways, and they continue to adapt to the increasing volume and the exponential rate of kitchen technology.